All right, so there we go. I think we're being streamlined live now on our YouTube channel. Hello and welcome to a new edition of Human Dialogues. I'm 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗫𝗏, and I am really thrilled to have you with me to discuss something human, to discuss something that I hope will inspire you and will help you. I'm talking about Human Dialogues, our space at the Institute of Humanology, where we try to approach a topic with a guest who's an expert in the topic, but from a human point of view. As you may already know, every month, the Institute of Humanology focuses on one human topic, and the topic that was chosen by our followers and readers this month of August was none other than coaching. For those of you who don't know it, coaching is one of the tools that humanologists use in their professional work. Together with many other tools, coaching is something that they might use with their clients whenever they consider that the client might benefit from coaching. But as you know, we have a whole bunch of tools in our toolbox. Today, we're going to focus on coaching, and we're going to try and approach the topic from a very specific point of view, which is coaching as a tool to grow. And to speak about this, we have an incredible speaker with us today, somebody who's really devoted her last years to the world of coaching. Not only is she a life coach for executives, but she's also a holistic mind and body coach, a mentor coach, and a coaching supervisor. And she's also an optimism coach that studied with us at the Institute. I am really happy to invite 𝗟𝗏𝗪𝗏𝗀𝗫𝗏𝗀 to join me today on Human Dialogues. Alexandra, I'm so happy to see you. Welcome.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you for the invitation.
I am really happy to have you here, because not only do you do coaching professionally, but I know that you study it. I know that you really went in depth into coaching, and I know that you know a lot, and I'm sure you're going to inspire a lot of people watching us today and later on the reruns. But let me start by asking you, I know that coaching was not your first professional career. I know that you were doing something else before. Can you please share with our audience what led you into coaching, why you decided to become a coach?
Yeah, I mean, I am an engineer, and I was working for 20 years in the printing industry. And after 20 years, I had the feeling that I need to do something else. Like, it was like, you know, going for another 20 years for the same thing. I thought, no. And then I was really reflecting of how I can serve other people and what I can do, which makes really sense for me and for the others. And that's how I came to coaching.
Sorry, my microphone just went a little crazy there. So that's how you got into coaching. But then you became a coach and you started working, I think I seem to recall, in companies, but you expanded your style, your type of coaching. And we've been talking about different types of coaching. You have optimism coaching there on the background. I know you do this mind and body coaching. You also do ICF coaching. ICF stands for the International Coaching Federation. So all in all, you do like many different things related to coaching. What's the difference? Why so many? Can you tell the people who are watching us so they understand a little bit?
Yeah, I was looking for my own style. Like when I was working in the companies and on this more consulting style of coaching, I felt that there is much more we can do, or much more how we can support our clients. And then I was always very interested to help people who had a burnout or are really in a very difficult situation. And I had the feeling with like the standard coaching, I'm getting at the limits. And then with the optimism coaching and the holistic mind-body coaching, I really found some new tools I can use to really support these people. And because it goes much deeper than the normal, like ICF coaching.
Mm-hmm. So you would say, if I understood it right, that regulated coaching is good for certain things, but maybe not for everything?
Yeah, I would say it really depends also on how the person is structured. Mm-hmm. So you have these mind people and they want to stay in their mind. And for them, the normal coaching is really working well. But when it comes to deeper work, like emotional work and so on, then we need to go deeper. We need to go into the body, because we don't only have the brain as our center, but we also know we have the heart as an energy center, and we have the stomach where we have a lot of nerves, and our body actually really stocks emotions in the body and not only in the memory, in the mind. And that's where I'm going to work with my clients when I use the holistic mind-body coaching.
I love it because it really, really matches what we do at the Institute of Humanology, because as you know, and maybe those who are watching us already know too, Humanology is based on that idea that we've always been studying human beings in a fragmented way. It's like we've been studying human beings through their minds using psychology and psychiatry. But then we want to study societies and we use sociology. We want to study the body and we use either biology or medicine. But at the end of the day, everything is connected. Human beings are not just their minds, their bodies, their feelings and emotions, or even their spirituality, but a mixture of both those four things. So working or studying people only from one single perspective, it's kind of, in our humanological point of view, it's kind of limiting and somehow misguiding, because everything is connected. One simple example, if I may, Alexandra, that I always share with people is the following. Imagine you have a certain fear, okay? You're afraid of dogs, and suddenly you hear a bark in the distance approaching you, and you immediately think, oh my God, a dog's coming. That thought might immediately release a certain emotion in you and cause fear. The feeling of fear might clench your muscles and might cause a stomachache. If that is persistent, you might even go to the doctor and tell him, I have a stomachache, and they might give you a pill for your stomach, when in reality, it all started with a thought.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. And you know, I have a client, she broke the, like, her backbone, like the upper one here. And then she really had, for 20 years, she suffered of fear of becoming dizzy. So she couldn't cross the road anymore alone. She couldn't walk down like the street alone, and for 20 years. And then she came to me for coaching. And then she asked me if I could help her with this trauma. And I said, I don't know, but we can try. And then I coached really the spine, the upper spine, with the energy work and everything. And now she can even bike ride. You know, it's incredible, because she was kind of physically healed. Yeah. But her psychosomatic fear was so big that she was handicapped in her life, and now she's not anymore. And that's amazing. And I mean, I have so many stories, you know, I could tell, but this is like one of the greatest I have. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that sometimes doctors, I'm sorry to say, forget. It's like me, you know, I'm disabled. I was the victim of 2 accidents, and I was told by every single doctor who studied my back that I would be in a wheelchair by 40 and that I would never walk again. I can stand up now if you want me to, but that's not true. That never came to happen, because at the end, working together with all the elements of the human being, we can go so much farther than just focusing on one aspect, which is precisely what I think you're doing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because I didn't have an accident, but I have 4 children. And then after the 4th birth, I also, for 1.5 years, I couldn't really move without having really severe back pains. In the night, during the day, it was awful. And I went from one doctor to the other, and they all told me, like, everything seems to be all right, but you know, you are 42 years old now and you have 4 children. So I guess you just need to live with this back pain.
Yeah.
And I said no. And then I met a lady who is a Thai massage, like a medical Thai massage specialist. And thanks to her, I learned also the Thai massage and all the knowledge about the meridians in the body. And I'm actually using this knowledge right now also, because we can also kind of coach this energy in the body. And thanks to this, thanks to the somatic coaching, I can go jogging. I'm running again, you know, and I don't have any back pains anymore, I touch wood. and it's amazing, you know, because we can do so much also only by like getting the negative energy out, getting the emotional blockages out of our body and working on this. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's why Humanology exists,
Yeah.
among other things. So we were telling our audience today that we were going to talk about coaching as a tool to grow. And we've seen that coaching and all the other variables together can help a person change their situation. But if we speak only about coaching as a tool to grow, how would you value it? Would you say it's extremely useful? It's more or less useful. It's okay. How would you value coaching as a tool to grow in your experience, Alexandra?
In my experience, it's a great tool to grow, for self-growth. I mean, I have experienced it for myself. I think I've never been so happy in my life, like in my situation right now, since I was a kid, you know, kind of before I went to school. I can remember I had really very happy moments then, but now and this is really thanks to coaching.
And why would you say it's so helpful? I mean, how does it help? For those who've never gone to a coach, who've never had a coaching session, let's imagine, you know, someone who's never, ever gone to a coach. How would you say it helps them?
I would say it's because we are so blocked by our own beliefs and we think it's the real world. We think this is the world how it is. But when we start to opening up our mind and we start to think about things, and we have a coach who is helping us to see that this is a kind of limiting belief or however you want to name it. And this is not the, like real life or how it is. And then you can actually learn like to not believe it anymore. And there are also several tools. And alone by doing this, I mean, you can free yourself and you can grow so much. So a lot of my clients know they are holding the limiting beliefs like, if I don't do what the others want me to do, they won't love me. Or if I'm not perfect enough, like they won't accept me. You know, and all these things, and these are really the beliefs, and we don't actively think them like consciously, but they are all the time in our mind, in the unconscious mind. And this is really blocking us. And as long as we are holding these beliefs, I really think we won't be really able to grow. And thanks to coaching, you know, we can really do this.
Okay, and in your experience, is coaching better for certain people than for others? Is it, I don't know, especially good for kids and not that good for the elderly? Or is it better for men or for women? I mean, what is your experience with coaching?
I would say it's for everyone who is open to think, who is able to be self-reflective. Like you need to have this openness that you really want to have a look at what is going on. And it doesn't matter where you are from, what culture you are from, or how old you are. And because, yeah, I've been also working with really young people, and it's amazing, you know, how well it works with them as well. But you need to be curious. You really, and you need to be open to discover things you probably don't like. You know, don't be scared. Because if you, and you need to be open for change, because if you don't want to change, or you don't want to see what is really going on, then the best coach of the world can't help you.
Yeah, and if you are not open to change, why are you going to see a coach, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it wouldn't
Yeah.
make sense, but
Yeah, that's
and
one of my, sorry, yeah.
No, go ahead, please.
You know, when I had a client, it was quite in the very beginning of my career, and he came to me and said, oh, I want to change, and I want to do this, and I want to, and after 3 sessions, I really found, you know, he's always telling me the same, but in reality, he's fine how he is. And then I've told him, although it was, for me, it was like really hard because it was like one, like of the few clients I had at the time, you know, I said, listen, I have the feeling you want to change without changing, actually. And then he was shocked when he heard this. And I said, if this is the case, if this is real, then I can't help you as a coach. And you can also just throw the money out of the window and think about it. And 3 weeks later, he called me and he said, you know what, you're right. And I know that now, 7 years later, he's still living as he used to live, and he's happy in his world.
Yeah, or for example, another experience I've had, not as only as a coach, but as a humanologist, and I'm sure you've encountered this situation too, is a boss referring an employee to a coach. This person needs help. A parent bringing you their kid, my kid needs coaching, and then not really wanting the coaching sessions. And I always tell them, I'm sorry, I will not accept this person as a client, because the desire to grow has to be in the client.
Yeah,
it cannot be like forced onto them.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But sometimes I also had the case that the client, like that they were sent by the company to me, and then they were even angry, you know, because it was like, oh, I'm here in this coaching, but I didn't want to come. It's only because I didn't get the job I wanted. But then I could kind of really show them that they could still benefit from the coaching. And one of them, like that was phenomenal. She really accepted then the challenge for growth and learning, and it really completely changed her life. Yeah,
because then she wanted to change as usual.
Yeah.
So we mentioned at the beginning that you are an engineer by training too. Would you say that that structured mode of thinking that you learn to become an engineer somehow helps you be a better coach? Or do you think that intuition is what, or experience is what really helps you as a coach?
All of them.
Okay.
It helps me. Like it's really like in the beginning, of course, I went into coaching with my strategic entrepreneur and engineering mind and the structure. But also, you know, human behavior is very structured. So, and then you learn, when someone is saying this, the cause could be that. And so there is a lot of structure behind it. And what I've learned then was also to listen to my body, what my body is telling me about the other person. So I'm feeling a lot of energy. I'm feeling a lot of emotions which are going on, even if the client is not telling me. And then I can reflect it back.
Great. And there's one more question I have for you, Alexandra. We explained this afternoon that you are a coaching supervisor. And for those who are not familiar with the ICF system or with any of the other association systems, what is a coaching supervisor? What does a coaching supervisor do? And why do you exist?
Yeah, supervision, probably some of you know it from like doctors or psychologists, psychiatrists, especially in Europe. Now you, like as a doctor or psychologist, psychiatrist, you need to have a coach, a supervisor. And now in coaching also in Europe, we have this for quite a long time, which means the coaches, they're coming to me to reflect on some problems they're having. And this can be like a problem they are facing with one client, or a bad feeling they are having like after the coaching. And it's for their mental health, that they stay healthy. because as a coach, we get a lot of negative also if we let it like come to us, because we have, people, they are not coming to coaching and they tell you, oh, everything is great and what great things can we do. Most of the time they have some problems. Some of them, they have really heavy problems, and we are there and we are listening to them, and so you need someone you can talk to, and this is the coaching supervisor.
Thank you for those who didn't know it. And you say you do life coaching for executives. How is life coaching for executives different from executive coaching?
That was I was struggling for the name, like, what am I doing? How do I name it? Because I have the capacity to coach executives, so executive coaching, but for me, it's much more. And like when you talk to coaches, a lot of them, they say, in the end, it's about the life. Because when they have one problem, like, it's not only a managing problem, it comes down to their habits, it comes to how they are, their personality, and they have the same personality also at home, same problems very often. And that's why I called it life coaching for executives, because I wanted to make clear that it's more than just executive coaching.
And if I had to ask you, what style of coaching do you prefer? What would you say? What is what you really truly enjoy doing?
Oh, what I really truly love is like a mixture of optimism coaching and the holistic mind-body coaching.
Okay, so for those of us, again, who are listening, coaching is like everywhere today. There's coaches everywhere. There's all kinds of alleged coaches. I'm a stylist coach, whatever that means, or I'm a cooking coach. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding. There's a lot of doubts and uncertainty about coaching as a profession or as a methodology. How would you help people understand how to somehow distinguish a real professional coach from something else?
I would say, and here it really comes to the ICF code of ethics, a real professional coach is someone who is not giving you the answer, but is like supporting you in finding your own answers. And it's absolutely the client who is saying what they want to talk about and what they want to have as an outcome. And then the coach is supporting them on their way to get to this outcome.
Yeah, that's a key difference. If, again, for those listening, if you go to a doctor, the doctor is going to tell you, okay, do this or do that, or take this prescription, or follow this method, or they're guiding you. Whereas the coach, as you are clearly saying, Alexandra, is not there to tell you what to do, but to explore different avenues and possibilities with you. Is that the only difference between coaches and other professions, or would you say there's more?
I think, that there is so much. It's like, as a coach, we are really giving the space to listen. Like, we are a sounding board. Sometimes I'm hardly speaking during a coaching session. So I think this is also a moment we can give to our clients. They would also love to have with their doctors, or they would love to have with other people, but they just don't have the time. But we as coaches, we can provide this time and a lovely space to think through the problems they are having and what is going on.
Okay, and if a person goes to you and says, I want you to tell me what to do, what do you do? Because I've had people tell me that, but as a coach, what do you tell them?
I tell them that it's not like my role as a coach, but that I will help them, I will support them to find out. And it depends sometimes a little bit on the situation. When somebody is heavily in a burnout situation, and then I'm using the optimism coaching methodology, and it's more like holding them by the hand and helping them to see the sunlight again. So there we are probably like more guiding than I do it with an executive person, you know, where I know they are really healthy and strong and they have the answer within themselves. And sometimes I'm also having people who are much younger than I am. And then they ask me also for a kind of mentoring. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, I'm offering like a mixture, a blended coaching, mm-hmm. which is really helpful. So I think, you know, we are free to decide what we are doing and what we are offering. But it's very important that we are always also very clear on what we are doing. So this is what I'm doing. I'm very clear, and I'm offering also mentoring, and I'm also offering the holistic mind-body coaching, where I even use Reiki, which is the Japanese energy healing method, but I'm using it in a coaching way, because I'm never using it just like this. I always ask. Mm-hmm. So this makes the big difference for me.
Yeah. Again, basically is the basis of Humanology too. Our humanologists are trained not only on optimism coaching to help people recover their energy, but they're also trained in regular coaching, professional executive coaching. They're trained on NLP, they're trained on mentoring, they're trained on positive psychology, on personal essence, and a whole bunch of other tools, because at the end, what we have to have, in my humble opinion, let's see if you agree with me, Alexandra, is a wide and big enough toolbox so that we can give the client what the client needs at every moment. And sometimes having just one tool doesn't do it, because that's not what the client needs. Do you agree?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. I mean, you know, when I have like an executive person and they want me as their coach because like to discuss what they're doing with the sales team and things like that, then I won't offer optimism coaching, or I won't offer the holistic mind body coaching. No, then I'm really coaching them on like what are they going to do with their sales or marketing team. And it's like my other kind of half of the brain is jumping in, you know, and I'm having these 20 years of experience kicking in. But if somebody else is coming like in a really like burnout situation, then I'm saying, okay, we probably even just start with Reiki, you know, to get the energy back in. It really depends where the person is, and then I adjust kind of the program to it.
And I suppose it also depends on what the person is like. Some people feel more comfortable with certain tools than with others. And that also, I suppose, guides your decision and your choices at a certain moment. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
One more question, Alexandra. How do you foresee, what do you think the future of coaching is like today? Do you think coaching is going to evolve, or is it just going to stay as a technique that professionals use? What do you think is going to happen with coaching? I'm asking this because we've seen this explosion of coaching in the last 50 years. You know, before, no one knew what coaching meant. Today, there's coaching everywhere. So the growth has been incredible. What do you think, after seeing this evolution and your training and being a member of the ICF, what do you think is going to happen with coaching?
Yeah, I think that coaching becomes like a more general thing, more accessible for like a lot of people, and not only for like really executives and people who can like pay a high price. I think it's really, you know, it's going to be probably normal also that people, they hire a coach. And it's not because they're having huge problems, but it's really for the self-growth. And what I see now is that a lot of companies, they pay a coaching training for people, but not only from the HR department, but also like for the managers, and that they become kind of also coaches, so they can coach rather than manage the teams. And so I think coaching will continue to grow, and it will also develop like in different directions. So I have a lot of people who are interested in the somatic coaching, like in the holistic mind body coaching, and I'm teaching it. And so it opens also for them like new doors to understand even better what is going on in the human body.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when we train humanologists, we train them because we believe this is going to grow. And we think that humanologists are needed all around the world. You may know that our vision at the Institute is that humanology becomes like a basic subject matter in all primary schools in the world. We want our children to learn to use the tools of humanology to better know and understand themselves and how to deal with the world that surrounds them. So I suppose that a first step could perhaps be having all teachers trained in coaching techniques in schools, because that, I think, would clearly make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I completely agree. And it's just, even if you think about to learn now how we can communicate with each other without hurting the other person, or learning about emotions. No, just knowing that emotions, they're not just there, but they are there because our brain decides something, like something is wrong, so I'm angry. But it's just the point of view that I think, it's wrong. So and so I can also work on the emotions. And if I understand this, I also, as you said, in schools now, if I know, okay, little boy or girl is angry now, and okay, she or he thinks something is wrong. What is wrong? So I can discuss about it in a much calmer way. And I mean, it really, the whole coaching, it was so life-changing for me. And also with my kids, in the relation. And I guess with your humanology, it's the same, with your children.
Yes.
It makes the relation, all we are having, so much richer.
It changes everything, because as we usually say at the Institute, how can you act and do something without first knowing and understanding who you are and where you stand? When you find these people who come and tell you, you have to do this and you have to do that, and then you'll be happy, you'll be good, you'll be whatever, I always answer, but how do you know what works for me and what I need? We're all different people. And it's important that we don't come giving people, one recipe for everybody, one pill for everyone. No, each person needs different things at different times in their lives. And I think what you're saying is fundamental. We have to start by helping people that way. And I think that is something that needs to grow in the world, so that our humanity becomes stronger and we're more rooted in our own humanity, in our own human kindness, instead of so much looking outside. I think that is where we should somehow try and direct our steps in the future.
Exactly. Yeah.
Alexandra, it was lovely talking with you, catching up, discussing coaching, which is something we're both passionate about,
Yeah.
and coaching with all these expanded views, with all these new tools and exciting advances that I think human beings are making in these current times. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. We wish you the best. As always, we will continue collaborating and cooperating. You're a member of the Institute of Humanology as well. And for those of you who are watching us today, remember that there's one Human Dialogues edition every month at least. And the next one we're going to have will take place next September 11th. We will have the pleasure of discussing a very interesting topic, which is, I'm not my circumstances. And you? We will have as our guest Sima Lieberman, who's an expert, among other things, in diversity. Note it down in your diaries and come and join us next September 11th. Thank you.